Hello everyone.
Hello beautiful people.
Welcome to our channel. We're going to discuss today Jedi's birthing story and just kind of give you a insider's view of what had occurred on the days leading up to Jedi's birth. Before we even wanted to go into this labor and delivery, we wanted to establish a foundation, and that was our birthing plan. The birthing plan that we had established that we would like to follow was that it would be a natural birth, that there would be no medications involved, no induction, nitrous oxide, no pain medication whatsoever. Yeah, so that was our plan for his birthing, and that's what we tried to stick to, and so you're going to get to hear more about that. Tat, would you like to start us off with Christmas Day?
Yeah, so it all kind of started on Christmas Day. So a little preface, Jedi's expected due date was January 10th. So we had about 2 weeks that we were looking at that we were expecting to just, pretty much relax and not have him come so early. And we didn't even have the diaper backpack. That's another story. But
and it was my 4-day weekend.
It was his 4-day weekend off. Yeah, he was super excited about
First
that.
day off for the 4-day weekend.
And the baby came the next. Yeah, so the day of Christmas, we were driving off from our family's house, and I remember just looking at Josh, and I said, I would not be surprised if Jedi came early.
It was extremely weird.
Yeah, super random, and he
had no idea where that came from.
Yeah, he's like, what makes you say that? I was like, I have no idea, but I'm just saying that.
Yeah, just the day before that her water breaks, she's just like, oh yeah, by the way, I think Jedi might come early.
Yeah. So a timeline. Christmas ends and we're now home. Josh is asleep. It's about 1 a.m. On the 26th of December, and I just remember my lower back was hurting, which never hurted, never really was hurting during the pregnancy. And I was just thinking maybe it's because I was moving around a lot, and I just kind of overdid myself a little.
Yeah, and come to find out too, when your lower back starts hurting during your pregnancy, they say that that's an indicator that you're going into labor. Yeah,
towards the later third trimester.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So.
Didn't know that.
Interesting fact.
Yeah. So my lower back was hurting. I was having all the symptoms of going into labor. I didn't know. I was like, oh, I'm just overdoing myself. Fell asleep, and then 6 a.m. rolls around. I stand up to go to the bathroom, and I nudged Josh, and I was like, hey, I think my water might have broke. I felt a little bit of liquid come out. And I was like, I'm not too sure. So I go to the bathroom. Lo and behold, I'm washing my hands, and more water kind of gushes out. So then I go upstairs, and I just tell Josh right away. We called the labor and delivery, and they were like, just to be safe, let's come on in, pack your bags, and we'll go from there.
Yep. So here we are. She wakes me up, and this is early in the morning. I'm still trying to sleep, half asleep, just kind of mesmerized, what's going on right now?
Yeah.
And she's like, I think my water broke. So we go into game mode, and then we start packing all of our things. We had talked about it before on what we are to do. We actually would have liked to have been more prepared. We had talked about it maybe a week or two before that we should probably pack our things ahead of time so we don't have to pack it all on the day of.
Yeah.
Well, we ended up having to pack it on the day of.
Very ironic.
Yeah. So
literally the next day, I think the day that the water, my water broke, we were planning on packing the bag.
We probably were.
Yeah, something like that.
I don't even remember too much, but yeah, that rings a bell.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can see that. Yeah.
that plan did not go.
Yeah. So here we are packing our bags. We go up to the hospital, and as you know, this is COVID season, so they're not gonna let me inside there with Tat until it's confirmed that her water did in fact. Sitting in the car about 2 blocks down the road, just waiting to hear back from Tatiana to see if her water did break and if I was able to come up there and join her on this adventure with Jedi coming into the world.
Josh is waiting in the car, and I'm hooked up to a whole bunch of things, and then they're checking to see if my water did in fact break. And one of the nurses at the time, she was looking at the screen, and I see like a little mountain go up, and she looks at me, she's like, "Did you feel that?" And I'm just kind of relaxing there. I'm like, "No." She's like, "Did you feel that?" I was like, "Feel what?" She's like, "You're having a contraction right now." And I was like, didn't even know. Yeah. So she's like, "Oh, okay." So fast forward a little bit, my water did in fact break. The midwife came and checked, and then I called Josh and then told him, and he started bringing all the bags in. So then we got admitted to the hospital.
Got all the things loaded up in there. We were all set, ready to go. And I think it just over time ramped up. I remember I fell asleep for a little bit. I wanted to be well rested for the night to come because I didn't know how long this was going to go on for. I just knew if I'm going to be massaging her back and coaching her as best as I can to be a good husband, I need energy. So I slept. I slept through a lot of the times. In fact, slept so much that even when Tat was during some of her more intense contractions, I kind of just slept through them. But it was out of Tat's choice too.
To be fair, like I let him sleep. If I needed him, I would have woke him.
Which there was a lot of support in that hospital. Like
the nurses were amazing.
Incredible.
So the nurses were amazing. Josh was amazing. I just figured let's have one person be well rested and energized in case the other person needed it. And that worked out really good. And then Josh woke up right when I needed him the most, so that was what was important. So it was around 8 p.m. So timeline, 6 a.m. water breaking. It is now 8 p.m. on the 26th of December, and Josh had just woken up from a nap. Or actually, I think he was sleeping through it, and I let him sleep through it because the nurses were helping me.
I don't think I woke up till maybe around 10. Like 10:30 or so.
At that point, so around 8 p.m., on a scale of 1 to 10, it kind of surpassed 10. Like, for my contraction pain. I just remember kind of like, I wasn't like freaking out or screaming or like grabbing or like shaking anyone.
It's just the definite, like, this hurts.
I was like, this isn't a 1.1 anymore. Like, so it's ramping up pretty quick, which was a blessing because we didn't want to get induced. And if it was 6 a.m. the next day and we weren't 10 centimeters dilated, they probably would have had to induce me.
And the reason behind that too, just so you can kind of get a little understanding of that, is that the fact that her water did break makes it to where she's more susceptible to infections. So over a period of time, I think they gave us a 24-hour period from the water breaking to the next day. And so they pretty much told us around 6 p.m. or 6 a.m. if you're still not having intense contractions, we're going to have to induce you. And that's because it's health reasons. We want to make sure that you stay safe away from any possible infections.
The contractions surpassed a 1 through 10 scale. And we called the midwife in, midwife Julio. Shout out to you, Julio, you're awesome. And all the nurses there. So he checked, and leading up to that, my contractions weren't like that bad. I wasn't freaking out too much or anything. And lo and behold, he checks, and he just kind of calmly just says, "You're 8 centimeters dilated." Now that was Julio's personality. He's super calm. Too collected.
Just
like
very professional.
Very professional, which was perfect, which is what we needed. And it was funny because the nurse Tiana, she was freaking out. She's like, 8 centimeters, because she was with me the whole time. Like she did not expect.
And like a happy type freaking out. Like, that's incredible.
That's awesome.
Because we were hoping too that it was at least 4 centimeters. We're like, we just hope there's progress being made because we're literally hours away from being induced.
Exactly.
And so when he said 8 centimeters, that was just incredible. It It was
Yeah.
just such a happy moment.
Yeah, and it's cool. I remember even Nurse Tiana, she was like, this is record breaking. Like the timeline of everything.
Mhm.
She's like, I've never seen it.
Yeah.
Which is really cool.
She was super stoked.
Yeah.
At 3 a.m., around that time, maybe 2 to 3 a.m.,
Mm-hmm.
it was time to push. She had so many contractions, and I think around that time, because just to kind of give a little bit more picture here, Julio was not in the picture at this time. We were waiting for Julio because after he had checked the dilation, he had gone off to see other patients at the time, and so we ended up calling him back into the room. We told the nurse, "Hey, we need Julio."
Mm-hmm.
I remember Tat just being like, "Get Julio in here, something's about to happen," and this is around 2 to 3 a.m., so it was time to start pushing.
It was like a 10-minute window. This is like all I remember regarding what he just said. A 10-minute window. He was supposed to come at, say, 2 o'clock, and at 1:50, I was like, where's Julio?
Mm-hmm.
He needs to come in here.
Yeah.
And then Nurse Tiana's like, oh, you have 10 minutes. And I was like, I think he should probably come, like, right now.
Yeah.
Like, not 10 minutes
Like,
later.
I'm not gonna rush you or anything, but
Get him in here.
he needs to be here.
Yeah. So she was awesome, and just Tiana was awesome. Got Julio. Yeah, had the sensation to start pushing, and it began.
She was
It
everywhere
happened.
but the bed. She was in my bed. She was in my bed. She
Little
was on
sofa
this.
bed.
Yeah, a
in the
little sofa
hospital.
bed. It's kind of like a futon in a way.
Yeah.
Because it's like it turns into a bed.
Yeah.
But anyway, she labored everywhere but a bed.
Yeah.
There was like this little toilet seat looking thing that's supposed to mimic a toilet that she was on. That's what she ended up giving birth on in the end. But leading up to that point, she was just all over the place.
Standing up.
Birthing
ball.
leg on the sofa, like standing up. It was just so many
I went
positions.
outside. I'm just kidding. No.
She didn't go outside.
I didn't go outside.
COVID season.
Yeah.
After that, we ended up having Jedi, and it was around what time?
4:56. He was born.
Born at 4:56.
Yeah. A.M.
Yeah.
On the 27th of December.
It's incredible. Like, it went by so quickly. Personally, my experience through that, I felt so sick after that because of how many emotions that I was filled with during that time. It was just a very emotional moment, and I just felt so sick afterwards. Like, I couldn't even really do skin to skin with Jedi. They asked me, they were like, do you want to do skin to skin with Jedi? I was like, I wish I could right now, but I may throw up on them, so it's probably not a good idea.
Yeah, probably for the best.
Tot did do, however, skin to skin with Jedi after, like, even right after, like, Jedi came out, they handed her the baby and she held him while they were cutting the umbilical cord, and it was just such a sweet moment.
Yeah.
I'm over here behind her,
Jedi's
Jedi's in her arms.
Yeah.
I'm like crying because I'm so happy because this whole
Relieved.
time I'm thinking, and she didn't know I was thinking this,
No.
that she may end up having to get a C-section. Like, that was in my mind the whole time. And so I was so emotional once Jedi came into the world, because it was after like a few hours of laboring, and I was thinking to myself, oh, what happens if she doesn't push the baby out? Because it felt like days were going by every time she would push, and then I would be coaching her just to breathe and to push and to breathe and to push. That was
It's so
just,
good. So good.
That was all I knew to do, just push, breathe,
Yeah,
push.
that's exactly what I needed, a reminder, literally, to breathe. Like,
Yeah. And it was just such an amazing moment. So we ended up going through the whole process. Tot didn't take any medications.
No medications.
None.
Nothing. I was eating.
No induction. That we were definitely worried about that.
Yeah.
And
I was eating oranges and water.
Crusty oranges. Those things were crusty. She was eating mandarin oranges that I was feeding to her, but it had been sitting out on a tray for at least 4 or 5 hours.
It gave me that extra energy I needed to push.
At that time, it didn't really matter.
Mandarin oranges. Pack them.
And there was no stitches involved.
No stitches.
No
No
stitches.
tears.
Yeah.
Nothing crazy.
Yeah. So they said that it was just a little tear there, actually.
That's true. A little tear. Not worth stitching up.
Yeah, that it was going to heal properly in its own time. And I guess today you're even feeling a lot better since then.
Yeah, Jedi is a month old now. Tomorrow he'll be 1 month old. And I feel pretty good. I mean, earlier today I went on a 10-mile run. So that was good.
We haven't been out of the house in days.
I don't even know what it looks like out there.
Yeah.
But yeah, just feeling tremendously better. All the Lord's doing. I mean, like Josh said, far exceeded our plans.
Yep.
Yeah, it was really, really good.
Yeah. So we hope this story encourages you all. This is the birthing story of Jedediah to the best of our knowledge that we remember. There's definitely a lot more to it than what we have said, but we hope that this kind of gives like an overview of the birthing story of Jedediah Leon Coulthard. All right.
Yeah.
Take care, fam.
All right.